Hey everyone, I am getting ready to do a quick broadcast with my friend Barb O'Neill, so I'm going to get ready to add her now, so bear with me for just a minute while I invite her, and she'll be our little picture in picture, and we're going to talk about her upcoming conference about transforming challenging behaviors. So let's see if we can get this to work. I sent her an invitation, and hopefully that will make it all just come together, all these wonderful ways of doing technology, right? So let's see if that worked. And then, hey, Miss Lisa, how are you? I'm just going to say hey to people while I'm waiting for Barb to join me. We're just trying to figure out the technology. I've been the recipient, but I haven't been able to have other people added to my stuff. Hello, Miss Terai. So we're trying to do this quick hey Barb, I don't know why you're not showing up in my picture, in picture. So we're going to get this figured out for sure, right? So you can see me, and we can at least see your, text. So that's a good start to things. I sent you an invitation, Barb, but I don't know why it's not letting you kind of like join with me here. Let's do one more thing. Yeah, that's all I can do. So let's do this. We'll kind of do it kind of old-fashioned way, and if in some way Barb can join as a little picture-in-picture, she will. But what we wanted to do today was tell you a little bit about this upcoming conference. And oh, Lori Lynn, I miss you so much. Will I see you this summer? So, and so it would be great to be able to cross paths. So anyway, so back to this conference that I'm doing with, I'm not really doing the conference with Barb, but she's got this great conference going on about transforming challenging behaviors. And speaking of Barb's, my other friend, Barb Avila, is, she and I did a session on calming the chaos. And so Barb O'Neill, who is hosting this fabulous conference, which is 100% free and 100% online, thought we could jump on Facebook Live. I had done this before with my friend Terai, and it worked fabulously, but for some reason I'm doing something wrong today. But we wanted to tell you a little bit about the session about calming the chaos at home and in the classroom, and then just see if people had some questions. I had some questions in Longmont the other day about how the conference kind of worked. So Barb, maybe if we can do this kind of like through chatting, people are saying to me, Kristie, it's the end of the year. We don't have a bandwidth. We don't even barely, know if we, changed our clothes from yesterday. What can we tell people about that, it starts on May 8th, but what if they just don't have the bandwidth right now to listen to things? And so I'm going to pause and let you kind of chat an answer to that, and then I'll kind of fill the space while you're chatting by typing. So the idea is that with this conference, there's like so many experts. And by experts, I mean people who've really thought a lot about the realities of supporting young children's social, emotional health and well-being, how to look at challenging behaviors in a new and different way. For those of you who know me, know that we've been trying not to say challenging behaviors, but rather to recognize that children are experiencing lots and lots of stressors. And so are some of us adults, right, Brooke? Right? So that how do we remove these stressors? And so this conference is really a way of being able to reframe how we think about traditional ways. It doesn't mean we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but we're really going to look for different strategies that aren't just us looking for the magic bullet. So what Barb's sharing with us about the conference, if you're like, oh, how do I do this, right? 7 days and all this content and my plate is already full. So what she's sharing with us is that, you can jump on, so you can go on any time. It doesn't have to be that it has to be May 8th. It could be May 10th, and you can get the material. So there's great people speaking each day. There's supplemental resources and supports. And then what's really kind of cool, because it's really a free conference, so it's designed to be super accessible, super feasible, right? Super doable. But there's also a way that you can purchase all of these sessions that have been recorded, all of these conversations with these experts, all of these tools and tips and practical ideas, and then you can access them anytime this next year. And so what Barb has done really kind of quite ingeniously is set up really affordable packages for people that they can have access to the content live and free for the time that the conference runs or after the fact. And so maybe the next thing I'll ask Barb to think about is one thing that she's been we have this private Facebook group. So anybody who's registered for the conference, you can join this Facebook group where people are talking about all these different issues and giving each other support and solutions. And so that's one of the things that you want to join now, even if you're on your last leg, because there's this community of people that are really rallying and will help support us through the end of the school year, right? And so there's 3 talks per day. So if you're on the 8th or the 9th or the 10th or the 11th, you can jump on and see any of the 3 sessions. And Barb, if you know when my session is with Barb Avila, I meant to be asking you that a lot of the time so that we could tell people which day our session on Calming the Chaos is. But this idea that we can rally around, get some new tricks for our toolbox, but that we are also, again, reframing how we think about challenging behavior so that we're not looking for new ways to manage children's behaviors. Like I always say, our job is not to manage anyone's behavior but our own. And we sometimes struggle with that, right? So the idea is that we kind of stop that search for different ways to manage children's behavior, but find ways to reduce the stressors that they're exposed to and find ways to be fostering a relationship with them. So each day you will learn from 3 different experts about how they have really grown in their own work as a way of trying to figure out how to better support young children. Not just giving you more methods, that's great, but really helping you find a different way to use those methods. And so while Barb's looking up the schedule, and if she can't find it, no worries, Barb, but you'll know when my session is with Barb Avila. Again, you can come into the Facebook Live and be talking to other people about well, I heard this great speaker on Monday, but I don't really get how that might work in my setting because I work with kids that are blah, 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 blah. So there's this really neat way to be able to take what you're learning and immediately ask the person who did the conference session, for that matter, because all of us, or most of us who did sessions are also in the Facebook Live, Facebook group. You can ask us questions about what did you mean, or how would I try that, or goodness, I tried it and it didn't end up working. So how can I adjust it? It made sense when you walked through it with, your interview with Barb O'Neill, but when I try it out in my classroom, I fall, on my face. So there'll be a way to let people know when the different sessions are so that you can then be prepared to watch it, again, free and recorded for that day, and then jump into the Facebook group and ask the person who did the session, how can I adapt that? How can I make sense of it? So one of the things that we talked about in Longmont, Colorado the other day were the ABCs of weathering the storm. And so for me and Barb Avila, who did our session, again, on Calming the Chaos, is that while we love prevention, and we actually have a lot of strategies about intervention, we also believe that we have to recognize that sometimes you're in the middle of a storm. And so we call that sort of phase weathering the storm. And how do we look at and really recognize that there are times where it cannot be a teachable moment? And so what we want to do is really allow people to recognize that during that storm, there's these ABCs. And so we talked about these again in Colorado the other day, that you're really aiming to connect. And when your goal is to connect, then it's not your teacher hat, right? It's not your problem-solving hat. It's not your, I can fix this hat. I can get control again, right? Because your goal is just to connect with this child who's in the middle of the storm, and likely bringing the rest of the classroom or the rest of the family along with them. So we want to think about how do we aim to connect. That's the A of the ABCs. We want to be curious. This is a phrase that Barb Avila has taught me. And it doesn't mean be curious like, I don't know, in a light way. It's really serious. It's like, I really need to understand you. I really need to understand what's going on. I really need to be open to what you're thinking and to, like Laura Fish would say, see the child behind the behavior. And that curiosity allows us to be looking versus trying to fix or solve or stop. And then the C is to really create calm. So Barb found the schedule. It's on Thursday, so May 10th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's when our session, mine and Barb Avila, is about calming the chaos at home and school, where one of the things we'll talk about is the ABCs of weathering the storm, that aim to connect, that be curious, and that to create calm. And so for 24 hours, you'll have access to our recording and our conversation around calming the chaos. And then you can jump on Facebook and ask me or Barb Avila questions and say, okay, that sounds great, but in reality, what's up, right? So that for us, part of that reality is really understanding that when we are in the middle of a meltdown or when there is this storm, that we have to really have a different goal. We have to have a different sort of idea about what we want to be having to accomplish. So you need to register so that you can get the links to the recording that I did with Barb Avila, as well as the other two that will be on May 10th. So you can't just wait till May 10th and it'll appear someplace. You have to actually register, again, for free. And then on May 10th, you'll see the session that I recorded with Barb Avila. And then if you want to register, you can go to prekteachandplay.com. Most of you that are part of the revolution already know that link. So prekteachandplay.com/conference-link. So it's pretty easy. prekteachandplay.com. I'll put it in the show notes /conference-link. And that will take you to the registration page where you will then be able to be geared up and ready for May 8th when Barb O'Neill will kick off the conference. And every day you'll have 3 new people sharing their wisdom and their experiences around how to better address challenging behaviors, or really how to deal with behaviors that challenge us. And then immediately you can jump into the Facebook group and start picking the brains of thousands, literally, thousands of other what we call early childhood revolutionaries, people who are really trying to evolve their practices and get to the heart of what matters so that we can really ensure children thrive at home, at school, and the community. And so, thanks. So Barb, as for those of you who are just joining me, Barb O'Neill can't, she was supposed to be picture-in-picture, so we'd be talking to you, so you didn't have to just listen to me. But it's really what Barb and I say often. It's that we're trying to change our language. It's not biters and kickers and screamers. It's kids who are really exposed to stressors, and our job is to reduce and remove and restore the calm. And we do that when we have a mindset that these behaviors are challenging to us. And imagine how challenging they are to the kid who's, as Stuart Schenker would say, flooded with that emotion, that anxiety, that frustration, that not getting my needs met, of what Laura Fish talks about, safety, satisfaction, and connection. So speaking of connection, that was it. We were hoping to connect live on Facebook, but I think it's my account, Barb, so it's no problem. There's no easy way to test run these things. We just try them out, and then we see what works and what doesn't. But it was good that we got it on here. If anybody has questions, feel free to post them on my Facebook page, or you can post it on my orange one. So that's how I distinguish between me, right? My blue one, my blue picture, and my orange picture. Either way, we'll get it. You can also post it to Barb O'Neill. She can answer any questions that you might have about it. We're using hashtag TC for transforming, challenging, B for behaviors, online conference, OC. So there you have it. We hope that you will join us starting May 8th, but why not start today at prekteachandplay.com /conference-link. and then I'll put this recording in YouTube so that you can share it outside of Facebook as well. And we'll put the registration link in the show notes of the Facebook post. So Barb, thank you for creating this amazing platform for us early childhood revolutionaries to come together and admire the problem a bit about the behaviors that challenge us, but also to find some amazing solutions to really ensure that all children thrive. So thanks for those of you who were able to join us live. And sorry again that we weren't able to do it with Barb, but she's been able to answer questions on the fly in our Facebook group or just field them to me, and then I will give them out to Barb. So to the revolution, and thanks again, guys.